Alright guys, we're going to be doing a different style of video, and I've got 5, well technically 6, but I'm counting these two in the back kind of as a set. So we got 5 or 6 minifigures, and these are rare, exclusive, and very hard to find BrickTactical minifigures. So these are some of my own minifigures that I custom printed, and I want to go over the backstory of these, why they're rare, how much they're worth, and like kind of just like the backstory, when they were released, how much I sold them for, and any little tidbits I can think about. And some of the backstories on some of these is very interesting. So let's go ahead and I'm trying to think. Let's go ahead and let's start off with, let's do this one. Let's kind of go in order if we can. So let's start off with, this is the Flash. Now, the reason why this guy is really hard to find, and this is like my literal first custom printed minifigure. I bought my first UV printer when I was 15 years old in 2015, and this was the first fully printed minifigure that I ever did. So this figure has a lot of sentimental value to me simply because I learned a lot about manufacturing, about UV printing, about everything you can think about. So it's really bad. The design itself is fine. It's pretty basic, but if you like notice how like on the side of the leg there, the printing doesn't line up there. I didn't do back leg printing for whatever reason. The back torso looks okay. And overall, the front looks okay too. The actual cool thing about this one is it does actually have a 3-sided head. So you have the front print there. You've got the side bolt on each side. So that's kind of cool. I haven't done that on like a new figure probably since then. So it's been what, 7 years, and I've never done a side printed head before. So that's pretty crazy. But yeah, this is kind of cool. I think I want to say I made less than 20 of these guys, and I sold these at conventions in 2015 and 2016. And once they were sold out, I never made them again. And I kept one obviously because of the sentimental value, and it's just kind of a cool learning experience. And I'll show you guys how far I've come. But I just thought that was kind of a cool, you know, figure and backstory. And let me know in the comments down below if one of you guys has one of these. Let me know when you got it. And I think I sold them for like probably like 15 bucks at the time, so pretty cheap for the amount of printing that was on this figure. So that's the first minifigure. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's go ahead. I think this would be next in order. I believe this is a Shock Trooper, and this came out, I believe, in 2016, because I remember I brought these to Brick Fair, Virginia, and I believe it was Brick Fair, Virginia 2016, so probably around then, mid 2016. And the reason why I made this figure is because at the time, the Battlefront trailer came out, the new by DICE and EA, and at the time there was a lot of hype, and at the time Lego hadn't made their own version of this yet, so I wanted to be first to do it. And I remember messaging my designer at the time, and I was like, let's get this done. And so we designed it up, and then the one problem we had was no one had the helmet. So what I did was I bought normal Stormtrooper helmets, right? And I removed the printing from all of it except for the little breathing holes there you can see. And I removed all the printing, and then I kind of did it. I UV printed on this helmet. Now, normally you don't UV print on extremely curved surfaces like helmets and whatnot. You can do Lego heads just fine, but you can't really do helmets. But somehow I was able to do this. It's not perfect. If you look at like right there or above like that respirator, you can see how it's just a little bit off. But it's actually pretty close, and I guess the only downside is the sizing of the eyes I wish was a little bit bigger. But for the time, these sold pretty well, I believe, at Brick Fair. If I remember correctly, a lot of people instantly knew what they were because this was in the trailer, like I said. And yeah, it's got arm printing. I think at the time that was something new to me as well. We've got this time back leg printing, so compared to the Flash over here, we had a little bit of an upgrade there. Pretty standard back printing, nothing special there. And yeah, so helmet printing, that was a big up for me, and something I just wanted to try. So once again, if you guys have one of these figures, let me know. I believe I sold these for like $20, maybe $15. I'm not too sure, but let me know if you guys have one of these, because this is a really hard to get minifigure, obviously, because I didn't make too many. I maybe made like 30 of those. So once again, we maybe made 10 to 20 of these, and then maybe 40 of these. I'm not too sure yet. So we've got those, and then let's see, what would be next? I believe it was the Pokemon figure here. So I did this one, let's see. Okay, this was actually earlier. I didn't print this one. At the time before, I was outsourcing my custom printing, so I did not print this minifigure. And so that had to have been, it had to have been maybe early 2015 in January. I got my printer in April, May, no, I think April of 2015. So maybe, or late 2014. So that's this figure here. These are aftermarket custom printed sleeves. They did not come on the minifigure. And then I also had the Pokeballs printed, and then the little Pokemon Go tile of the iPhone. Those I did print, but this actual figure I did not print. So this is kind of cool. It's got a double-sided face. It's got the Pokeballs and the backpack sticking out there. I did make, I believe, 110 of these, so a lot larger of a quantity, and the reason for such a much larger quantity is because, once again, I was outsourcing the printing, and so I had to get the quantity up there so I could get the cost down. That's one thing a lot of you guys will learn in business, is the more you make, the cheaper things get normally, so you avoid some setup costs and whatnot. So this is kind of a cool figure. Once again, I only made, I think, 110 of them, and I think 10 of those were like random colored prints, and I sold those off. And I honestly have no idea where all these ended up. I know I sold a lot of them at Brick Fair 2017 or I think it was 2017. Whenever Pokemon Go was really popular, I remember I sold the rest of these pretty quickly. So I'm curious if any of you guys have one of these. It's a really well done figure. I never really gone back to doing double-sided heads. It's not my favorite thing, but it is kind of cool. You have like a more aggressive head and a more just kind of standard head. So let me know if you guys have one of these figures. I believe I sold them for $20 or $25. So pretty good deal there. Let's go ahead and move on to these guys here. So like I said, this is technically 2 figures, but it kind of goes as a set. Now there's actually more of these. This is obviously Jesse and Walter White from Breaking Bad. I have the full set. I also have them in, I have Jesse in lab gear. I have Walter White in a standard outfit. Then I have Saul, Hank, Gus, I'm trying to think. I think that's it. And so I've got, and then Mike. That's the other one. So I've got these 2 guys. Now these I did print. These I believe were in 2016, I want to say. At the time, I'd never seen Breaking Bad. And then I watched it, and I instantly had to make these because I fell in love with the show. It's my favorite show to this day. Great show. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Make sure you check with your parents because it is PG for sure. PG 18 plus, maybe 21 plus. But I made these figures, and I only made like 20 of them, 20 of each maybe. And I remember at the time they weren't the best seller. And the reason for that is because the show at the time was kind of old by then. So no one there was no hype behind it, but I do remember taking them to conventions, and the people that saw them knew instantly who they were. So that made it a little bit easier to sell these figures. So, you know, it is kind of cool. And then, of course, like the cigarette I added later, that's a more recent product. And it's pretty standard printing. One thing that I did do on these guys that you can see is some underneath the arm side torso printing. I thought that was kind of cool. And then with Walter, we do have the $100 bill. I thought that was very fitting. So these are some pretty rare figures. Like I said, only about 20 of each of these were made. I'm very tempted to make more because it's just one of my favorite shows and whatnot, but I'm going to keep them rare and exclusive, and I'm obviously always going to keep this set for myself because it's my favorite show, and unless someone offers me a boatload of money for them, I'm not going to sell them. So yeah, let me know if you guys have a set of those. Now the last figure, this is a very recent figure. This came out earlier this year in 2022. I believe it was January or February. I think it was January, maybe. I'm not too sure. This is Cortana from Halo. Now I love Halo. I grew up playing Halo 3 and then Halo Reach and then later Halo 4. And it's by far my favorite game. And this is printed all by myself on my new UV printer. And I must say I'm very happy with the quality of this. It is fully printed, and then of course we got the arm printing and whatnot, and yeah, I just really like it. It's in this, I believe it's medium azure is the color. It's a very expensive Lego color, but I was able to get it. Backstory on this, I talked about this a lot on Instagram, is the heads were like $3 a piece, and it came in one minifigure, which was the Series 3, I believe it was. It was a genie figure, so I had to buy the heads for like $3, $4, $5 a piece from multiple different sellers all over the world, have them shipped here. Then I had to clean off the Lego printing, and then I had to polish them, and then add my printing to them. So a lot of work went into these figures. I sold them for, I believe it was $40 a piece, but once again, I only made 36 of them because that was as many of the heads as I could get at the time. And then 36, and then obviously I have one. So there's only 35 out in the wild, and they sold out pretty quickly. So if you have one of these, you're definitely an OG Halo fan. It is one of my favorite figures to this day, just because I love Halo, and it's such a pretty blue color. I really like the color, and the design's simple, but just enough detail to get the point across. So if you guys have one of these, also let me know. But that's going to do it for this video. I just thought it would be cool to go through kind of my archive. You guys have seen it in my update videos and all my other videos of like my minifigures just kind of sitting on the shelf. And I thought it would be cool to actually for once go in and show you guys kind of like some backstory, because there's a lot of history that just kind of sits on the shelf. So let me know if you guys like this video. I could do this on a couple more different like molded parts. I could do this on some other figures, some other printed parts, some kits, a lot of things that I could give you guys some backstories on. So let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe. We're on our road to 100,000 subscribers, and once we're there, we're gonna be doing a big giveaway. So guys, thank you so much for the support. Check out my website, BrickTactical.com, link in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.